So how do you actually go about recording your online course, and how am I using the tools available from this amazing world of technology that we live in to actually go about recording my course, and more importantly, editing it, segmenting it? So I wanted to just, in this episode of Becoming a Course Seller, give you guys an insight into my workflow, how I'm editing it. It might not be the most efficient right now. Like I said, this is about becoming a course seller, right? So I'm editing it all myself. And the whole reason why I'm not using my team or, getting any kind of specialists in is because I'm one of those people who generally believe in becoming aware and knowledgeable on a subject first, and then outsourcing that work so that I know what I'm outsourcing exactly. Now, obviously, this is within reason. I can't become the master of everything, but to understand everything to a fundamental level in my business is an absolute priority. And that's not just in the advertising side, that's from the management side, people, hiring, you name it. Every kind of area. So back to my workflow. Here is the dashboard I have set up for Loom. You can see 69 videos just up here. Now, Loom, guys, is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's a free screen recording software that works on the online, and it's a free screen recording software where literally, if you have a presentation, you can load that up, hit present, and you can either choose to have just the screen, or you can have what we have here, which is my head in the corner. Now, the reason why, and I've kind of made my life a little bit more difficult here, and I'm going to make a video about tips and stuff that you need to know before you build your presentation. Now, because the presentation for the Facebook Ads Weekender online course was originally delivered live, it was a workshop and an event, and it still will be in the future, fingers crossed, when things go back to normal. But because it was a live event, it wasn't designed with the idea there would be a floating head, right, like mine is right now. That wasn't a part of the consideration in the design. So because of that, and also because the laptop camera that I'm using right now, yes, it's okay when it's this small. I think the quality is pretty decent. However, if I wanted to do a full screen video, I wouldn't be happy with the quality of this camera. So I've kind of made my life a little bit more difficult. I'm recording the screen and the presentation, but more importantly, the audio. Okay, so this microphone that I have set up here, and by the way, I'm going to do another video on Becoming a Course Seller series about the whole setup, what equipment I have, what laptop, what microphone, camera, lighting, the whole 9 yards, and I'll put links to all of those individual elements into that as well, so you can just literally duplicate my entire setup. However, what I'm doing right now is I'm recording separately my face and talking to camera on my separate camera, and I'm just recording the screen on Loom. Okay, so that's doubled up the files in terms of what needs to be edited. But what I'm doing, my workflow, I'm taking videos from here. So as you can see, this module here, split testing, campaign structure and budget allocation, ad account run through, copywriting, ad manager setup, all of these individual tutorials, if you like, and then I'm pumping them into my Premiere Pro project. Okay, so as you can see right now, we are up to, and we haven't imported a lot of the content yet, we're up to about 6 hours in education content. Now, this is an unedited part of the video. You know what, it is a bit of a mess. However, this isn't relevant, because when you actually look at the video, I've just cropped my head in a circle, right? Now, on some slides, it works very fine, that in where the placement of my head is, I'm just on top of the logo there. However, on some, you can see there's a bit of overlap. Now, one of the things that I've done, I've removed myself from a few slides that I don't feel like it's necessary for the user to be seeing my face whilst I'm describing things. But for the majority of the education and the modules, you can see my head is there. Let's see what we got here. And I think, different placement. So I'm down here on this one. Now, if I did this through Loom, I could have just dragged and dropped my head as we went along and just had one video file. However, because I wanted a higher quality, as I said, I decided not to go for that. So I've got my face at the top on this bar, on this channel, if you like, and then I've got my screen recordings on the bottom. And then if I just drag this up and give you guys some kind of guidance on my timeline. So I've been using Premiere Pro now for many years. I love it. I think it's a great software, and it's very cheap as well. They've changed it to a subscription model with the Adobe Cloud, so it's it's just a monthly fee. Now, these red little markers here, these are chapter or module markers. So as you can see, there's lots of different wording, avatars, content types, audiences, high performance placements, convention and organization, conversion copywriting, course overview. These are all markers for breaking down the modules. Now, I'm not obviously going to just export a massive file of video, right? I'm going to actually break it down into small videos and then obviously organize those in my workflow when they're on the desktop or the web, if you like. And down here we have two audio channels. The main one is this, so I'll just mute that. And it's very clear through this microphone that you're hearing my voice through now. And actually, I'll give you guys an example of something that sometimes goes wrong. So we actually have the original audio, so you can hear it yourself. You're not over risking what you. And then, unfortunately, the mic for some reason didn't pick up, or I didn't record. I won't blame the tools. It was me. Page where they can sign up for an event. All of these things need to be. And for about, I don't know, a couple of minutes, 4 minutes of the presentation, which I think, was pretty good. The quality of the audio is just a bit more grainy. Even still, very clear, very easy to hear, but that's taken off the camera audio. So that was one thing that you should definitely consider. But in the workflow, so I've got my head, if you like, the big head floating around, and then I've got my presentation here, right? Breaking it all down, cutting them all up, slicing them all up, lining up the audio has been a bit tricky at some stages. So as you can see, because I need to line up the audio with my face and what I'm saying on the camera to what's being recorded on the slides, it hasn't been that tricky, because as you can see, the waves of the audio just need to be lined up, and you can zoom right in to see that. All stuff you can do yourself, not difficult at all once you get to grips with just the tools and how to cut the clips up. Command, it's not even command, it's just C if you want to get your cutting tool out to cut the clips up. Zoom is obviously is Z, not obvious if you haven't used it before. It's just, if you hit Z, it's zoom. C to cut. Very straightforward program. You can get to grips with it very quickly. This is my workflow. As you can see, this stuff here hasn't been used, so one of the things that needs to be done to these clips, I'll just do it right now for you. Obviously, I haven't actually cropped this yet. So the first thing is, if we go down here and we hit Command C on the crop, it will just automatically crop my head. Now that looks like it's a bit off, so I'm a bit too low. As you can see, the audio isn't synced here either. For example, that's where you gear up a lot of your spend at the bottom. So that needs to be lined up. That's a great example. So let's actually just work on this right now and give you guys a live example of how I'm actually going about editing this stuff. So with the crop, it's very easy to actually just adjust the actual mask of it. So if we go down here and we go to mask, I can then just drag this down, and now I've got a much more accurate central alignment with my head. That's a nice freeze frame, isn't it? And then if we forget about the crop for a second, we look at the positioning. What I want to do is I want to just copy and paste the position to keep it consistent. So I'll click on motion here on the top left, Command C, and then I'll highlight my head, Command V, and it will put me in the same place. Again, with the slides, I'll go to motion, Command C, Command V on the slides, and now we've got it and the same consistent formatting over here. And then let's just actually look at the audio real quick and let you guys see how we line that up as well. So look, we're not too far off, but you can see that it has a very dramatic effect from the video I just played you guys on the quality of the presentation. So the way that I do it is I look for a big gap. So as you can see, there's a big gap here, and then there's some new audio, or there's a little split there, which makes things much easier to line up. So then I'll zoom in on this gap, I'll zoom in again on the beginning, and then I'll just drag this clip across until I feel like they are completely aligned. Again, zoom in as much as you need to. Very good tool, and you just drag it across second by second or millisecond by millisecond, and I'll say one more. Yeah, so as you can see, this was the original audio. This was the actual high quality audio, and generally I'll put that on top as well. So this is the audio clip that we want to actually play. We zoom that out now, and you can see all of the clippers aligned, and hopefully, let's do a quick test. Let's get the preview up. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it on the microphone picking up this audio. Let's see. Now I want to talk a little. So if you've got £1,000 a month, 50% of that budget that month should be going on cold traffic. There you go. There you have it. Don't want to give away too much of the presentation, of course. So yeah, look, that's essentially my setup. I take my videos from Loom, I pop those into Premiere Pro, I take my camera files. As you can see, I've got a file set up here, we've got the tutorials, and then we've got the any MVI files are actually from the camera. One thing I will say is that the size of those files has been pretty dramatic. So I've had to clear a lot of space on my hard drive of videos and large files to get rid of that. However, it's coming together nicely. It's a work in progress, as all good things in life are, including ourselves. So now, next steps for this presentation are for the online course, is I need to finish recording. So I haven't finished recording all the content yet. I need to import all of these individual run-throughs and tutorials into the actual sequence, and I just want it all to be in one sequence, so I can just literally go through one by one and sequence them all up to be exported and rendered using Adobe Media Encoder. And yeah, that's the workflow, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on what your thoughts are about your workflow. If you've got a better workflow, if you've got some advice, always open and happy to hear advice. How do you cut up your videos after I've arranged everything? So the way that I approach this is generally with the same approach that I have for when I used to study. Let's get a bigger version of me. So the approach that I have for this is generally that when I was in university and I was studying sound design, we would obviously build, tracks or sound for film or anything that sound is required for, which is everything in media. And the way that we would go about that is we would first focus on the arrangement. So we wouldn't focus on effects, we wouldn't focus on anything other than the arrangement. So how do we sequence up the clips? Not even transitions, again, we'll class that as effects. Once we've done the arrangement and we're happy with the sequence of media, let's say video and audio, then we would focus on the effects. So there were two separate processes, and the same is true for this, this Premiere Pro file. I'm focusing purely on arrangement right now. After that, I'll start looking at, how can I make myself a little bit brighter? How can I get my face a bit brighter? How can I make sure my head in the circle is consistent with the lighting? I don't want it to be really bright on one and then really dark on another clip, right? So these are all just considerations that I'll make after the editing and arrangement process is done. I'll focus on the actual effects and making it look as consistent and professional as possible. In terms of my head, that is my floating head. Cool. All right, cool. So you guys go ahead, give me some advice. Let me know your thoughts. I hope this helps. Becoming a Course Seller episode 3. This is becoming a mini course within itself. Look, all feedback is appreciated. When you like the video, more people see it. Kind of just gives the support as well for a small business like ours to let us know that there's people out there gaining valuable knowledge from this and improving their lives from this information. I hope you've enjoyed it. Speak to you soon.